Josh, want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, honors to all the brothers in the truth. The name of this is To Break in Pieces. So yeah, it's kind of simple and straight to the point. We're reading the scriptures, but not to everybody. There's an old saying, which I learned from, wise counsel growing up, that common sense ain't common to everybody, and it's crazy that we have to go into these small, I ain't gonna call it a small matter, so let's just get into it, to break in pieces. So I'm gonna bring out a couple scriptures that talk about the state of the nations in the kingdom. What state are these other nations going to be in the kingdom, right? And it tells you that, but Jake, and a lot of these different camps, that especially the ones that believe anybody can make it, they had turned that into saying that these other nations are going to be in servitude in the kingdom, when clearly it tells you the way that we're going to rule over them. It tells you, just going to Deuteronomy 30 off the top of the head, the curses that was put on us is going to be put on the other nations, right? So let's go to that one. Let's go to that one and break it down. This is Deuteronomy, right? Chapter 30. So when you understand and you read through Deuteronomy 28 and you read about the curses that was put on Israel, right? Like, I'll give you one right here. I give you a couple of curses that was put on Israel. This is Deuteronomy 28, right? 32. The sons of thy daughters should be given into another people. So our sons and our daughters was given to another people. Thy eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all day long, and there should be no might in their hand. So we didn't have no might in our hand. They were able to do whatever they wanted to do with our sons and our daughters. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. So we were oppressed, right? And we was crushed away. We was crushed with bondage. It says, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see, right? And the Lord shall smite thee in the knee and the legs. We ain't gonna have no power, no structure, just roughly paraphrasing. Deuteronomy 28, jump into 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among the people from one end of the earth, even to the other, and there shall thou serve other gods, which neither nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shall thou find no ease. So when we had these curses put on us, even to this day, we had no ease. Neither should the sole of thy foot have rest. We ain't got no rest. We got to go work at the plantation 5-6 days out the week just to get by. It says, but the Lord should give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. So all these curses was put on us, right? So now follow me, because I'm trying to break something down. Now, when you go to Deuteronomy 30, right? And it says verse 7, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies, on them which hate thee, which persecute thee. Right now, the curses, it's just talking about the same curses, the same examples that I bring out in Deuteronomy 28. So all those curses are going to be put on them having no might in their hand, them being at no ease, them having sorrow in the mind, them being under another nation, their daughters and their sons being given to a people, another nation, which is Israel. So all the same curses that was put on us is going to be put on these other nations. So the question is were we servants under? Were we just servants under them? Were we just under servitude under them? Butlers and maids under them? No, we were slaves. So in the kingdom, they're going to be made to slaves, not just servants and butlers, but actual slaves, man. Breaking it down, because the same curses with slavery was a curse that was put on us. Being in bondage and captivity. When you go back to Deuteronomy 28:68. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way wherefore I speak unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there shall you be sold. That's a curse. We were sold into our enemies for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you. So if those curses are going to be put on our enemies, then that means, sorry about that. That means that Esau is going to be sold in the kingdom. He's going to be, brothers is going to be auctioning off Esau on auction blocks. You want this Edomite, you want that Edomite, what the bam. Just there, all the curses that came upon us is going to come up on Esau for the exact same thing. This is Because why? Because they did it to us. And the Lord said, now when you read Deuteronomy 30, it's clearly talking about the state of the kingdom. You know, the Lord should circumcise our hearts. He should bring us back in the land and multiply us above our fathers. That goes into Jeremiah 31, the Lord putting the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts. That's talking about the state that we're going to be in the kingdom. So it's telling you in the kingdom, the Israelites are going to get the kingdom, you know, and we're going to get the land. But the curses that we had on us is going to be taken off of us, and it's going to be put on our enemies. That's what it's breaking it down. If you go to Isaiah, let me see. Chapter 14, right? It tells you, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, the Israelites, and will yet choose Israel. You know, he's going to choose who? Choose Israel. You know, you can't say I'm going to choose everybody and then I'm going to choose Israel. No, you choose Israel out of everybody else. That's what it means to choose something. You know, somebody say, look, I got red, green, and blue. Choose one color. You say, I choose blue. So, or do that mean you're going to get the red and the green too? No, you choose the blue. I mean, just, you know, simple shit. It says set them in their own land. So why is he setting them in their own land if the Lord is just going to come save everybody in all nations? Why do he got to set them in their own land? It says, and a stranger should be joined with them, and they should cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people should take them and bring them to their place. And do what? In the house of Israel, not the house of anybody that believes on the Lord, not the house of the believers. It says the house of Israel shall possess them in the land. So he gave us our own land. He going to set us in our own land, which is the land of Israel. And then we are going to have possessions of the other people are going to be our possessions. So does that mean they just going to be butlers? I know it says servants here, but we're going to break it down even further to give you an understanding. It says, in the house of Israel shall possess them in the land, the Lord, for servants and handmaids. And they but okay, so are they just going to be servants and handmaids in the sense of what we use the word servants and handmaids today? No, because this. And they shall take them captives. Okay, so now it's giving us more detail. Not only are they going to be servants and handmaids, they're going to be captives. Who captives they were. So the same way they had us in captivity and slavery, we're going to take them in captivity and slavery. That's why it breaks down and says the curses that was on us is going to be put on them. And they should rule over their oppressors. What does it mean to rule over them? You see what I'm saying? We're going to have rulership. They're going to be our possession. Just like you rule over your possession. You got a car, you rule over your car. It's a possession. It does whatever you want it to do. So that's the same thing. That's the type of slavery they're going to be in the kingdom, man. The other nations, you know, just breaking that down, you know, because there's a lot of different doctrines going out there. No, the other nations aren't going to be slaves. People will say, look, they're just going to be like under us. We're going to be like higher than them, but they're not going to be slaves, though. No, they're going to actually be slaves. This is Psalms chapter 2. Get straight to the point, right? Verse 9. Thou shalt break the... Nah, I can't even go straight to the point. Verse 6. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. The people of Zion is the Israelites. It says, I will declare the decree, and the Lord has said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. So the Lord said He's going to give us the heathen. What does it mean for the Lord to give us the heathen for an inheritance? So we're teaching right now. So, okay, let's break it down. And I mean, we're prophesying at the same time, but be using this one to teach more than prophesy. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 11. In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. I will raise up the ruins, and I will build it as a days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. They're gonna, and they said the same thing in Isaiah 14. See, this is how it all goes together and connect. We're gonna possess the Edomites. They're gonna be our possession, which are in all the heathen, and all the rest of the heathen, which are called by my name, state the Lord that does this. We're going to possess them in their lands, right? Now, it says the same thing going back to Psalms 2. He says, look, if you ask me, I should give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. Who are the heathen? Well, Amos 9, verse 11 and 12 gave you more understanding. It's the other nations. That's why I named Edom. It says, in the utmost parts of the earth for thy possession, meaning we're going to have the earth for our possession. But we're going to have their lands, going back to Amos 9, 11, and 12. We're going to have their lands to our possession too. And that's the promise that was given to the Israelites in Genesis chapter 27, I think starting at verse 27, 28, 29, that we will have rulership over the whole earth, the dew of the heavens. You know, that's the promise. That's the promise of the kingdom to come. But let's give you more insight of how that's going to look. Verse 9. Thou shalt break them. So he gave us the possession of the heathen. And say, okay, well, yeah, we got possession. We got rulership of the earth, but they're just going to be butlers. You know what I mean? They're going to have a choice. And no, it says, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. So this is a prophecy that's going to happen. This will be fulfilled. We are going to break them with a rod of iron. What does it mean to break somebody? Break their will. Break them into servitude, into slavery. Didn't they do the same thing with us? They had the whips, you know, with Kuta Kinte, and they whipped the name out of them. They whipped our language out of us. You know what I mean? Whipped our heritage out of us. They cut us off from being a nation. And talks about that in Psalms chapter 83. Thou shalt dash them in pieces. Not only are we going to break them with a rod of iron, we're going to dash them in pieces like a pottery vessel. You're going to break them in pieces. Didn't they break our families in pieces? Ship a son to this plantation, ship the mom and the father, or split the mother and the father, ship the father to this plantation, ship the mother to that plantation. Didn't they do that? So we're going to break them in pieces. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. The Lord called us kings. We're going to be kings in the kingdom. What does a kingdom have? A kingdom have a king. Yahushua is the top king, but the Bible says that we're going to be joint heirs of salvation. That's Hebrews chapter 2, but it says we're going to be joint heirs to the kingdom. And then read 2nd Esdras chapter 2, it breaks it down of how Yahushua is going to give us those crowns, and we're going to be with him. And if we're getting crowns, then what? We're going to be kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth, and then it say we should judge everything. We're going to be judges of everything. Ye judge, roughly paraphrasing. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoicing with trembling. So a part of us breaking the nations into pieces and ruling one rod of iron, that's a part of us serving the Lord. It says, kiss the Son, Yahushua, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. That's how you kiss the Son, by putting your trust in him. We got to believe in, what do they put on the American dollar? Trust in God. We got to believe in Yahushua. We got to believe in Yahweh. We got to put all our trust, our whole life. That's why we're doing the work at such a rapid pace. Brothers putting up videos every day, doing camp, studying. A lot of times you don't see what goes into putting videos up and doing camp. A lot of that behind the scenes stuff is studying, preparing to do the video, going over the precepts, learning the breakdowns, getting into the spirit, because you can't just jump and do a video and not be in the spirit. Sometimes you got to prepare yourself and get yourself in the spirit, to do the video. It takes a lot to do that. It takes a lot out of you doing a video. It takes a lot out of you, man. Now let's jump to Psalms 149, just to give you a precept to back up what we're saying, just in case you still ain't got it yet, or you still just kind of on the edge, with it. Now, I think they're not going to be slaves in the kingdom, so let's keep breaking it down. Psalms 149. I'm going to get straight to the point, verse 5. Let the saints, verse 4. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people, the Israelites. Just read about it in Isaiah 14. He would beautify the meek with salvation. He's going to save the Israelites. Salvation is only for the Israelites. Let's prove it. You got a one-hitter quitter right here. Straight to the point to prove it. Simple. Very easy, right? Who is the Lord going to come back and save? Let me find it real quick. I got to find a verse. I got the chapter, but I got to find a verse, right? Okay. Right here, verse 7. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west. I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God in the truth and righteousness. And it just gets straight to the point. The Lord said, look, he gonna save his people. right? And I mean, if you get the context, it's talking about Israel. Verse 2, verse 1, it's talking about, Jerusalem, the Israelites, pretty much, to break it down. But matter of fact, here, I'll give you even a better one hitter quitter. This is John chapter 4, verse 22. Ye worship what ye ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is for the Jews. That's simple. All right. Now back in Psalms 149. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Who's the saints? Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Matter of fact, let's take some time and work. Let's work, man. Who's the saints? This is, I believe, Psalms chapter 50, right? Verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice? During the time of Moses, right? The Old Testament, right? They call it. The Israelites made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. I mean, it's just that simple. So when it says saints, is the same thing as Saint Israel. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth. And a two-edged sword. Oh, wait a minute. They got a two-edged sword in their hands for what? To execute vengeance upon the heathen. So if they're just going to be butlers and be in servitude, what we need a two-edged sword for? No, because we're getting our vengeance against them. That's a part of the judgment that the Lord is putting on the other nations. That's why he says he's going to put the curses on them, just like we had the curses on us. And punishment upon the people. Wait, do you punish your butler? Or do you got a two-edged sword against your butler? No. It says to bind their kings with chains. Wait, so we're going to have people in chains? And their nobles with feathers of iron, which is just talking about chains, which you see on your screen. It says to execute upon them the judgment written, right? Because they have a judgment. This honor have all his saints. So this is going to be an honor for his saints to have. Praise ye the Lord, right? Because we're praying for this. This is going to be an honor for the saints to have. When you go to Revelation 13, right? Verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. So we were led into captivity. The people that led us in captivity, going back to Deuteronomy 30, they're going to have that same curse put on them. They're going to go into captivity. Going back to Isaiah 14, we should take captives those who we were in captivity under, those that had us captives. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Edomites are going to be put to death. Now you might say, oh, well, the law say do not murder. Yes, that's amongst Israel. We're not supposed to murder each other. We're not supposed to kill each other. Duh. Especially unrighteously. Now there is laws. You got to put this person to death. So I guess killing and murder is two different things, They killed us with the sword. They're going to be killed with the sword. The Lord's going to come back and kill a lot of them. It says, here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So it was a patient, and we have faith that this is going to happen. So when you go back to Psalms 149, the Lord's going to fulfill it. He's going to answer our patience. He's going to answer our faith, and he's going to give it to us, That's a prophecy that will happen. Regardless of how you feel about it or what doctrine you done learned, that's a prophecy that's going to happen. And this is another prophecy that's going to happen. Revelations 2, verse 26. He that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, the Israelites, the elect amongst the Israelites, this is all red letter. To him will I get power over the nations. So Yahushua he already got the power from his father Yahweh. He's going to give us power over the nations too. And he should rule them with a rod of iron. This Yahushua, we're going to rule the other nations with a rod of iron. We ain't say we just going to lightly be over them, or we just going to have rulership on the earth and be above them. No, it says we're going to rule them with a rod of iron. I mean, how hard is it to get this? It says, as a vessel of a potter shall they be broken in shivers, even as I received of my father. So Yahushua received the power from Yahweh, and he's going to come back and break them in pieces. Read 2nd Ezra chapter 13, the war in the heaven. Read Revelation chapter 12. So he's going to get power to be able to break them in pieces, and then he's going to give us that power to break them in pieces, because we're joint heirs to the kingdom with him. I mean, it's just right there. So it don't matter what doctrine you didn't learn, it's about the truth. What did it read? Am I just making up stuff here, or am I reading precepts, or am I reading the Bible? It says this in the Bible. So this is going to happen. Yahweh Shai is going to give a certain people power to have power over other people, the nations, that and they're going to be able to rule them with a rod of iron. This has not happened yet. So this is going to happen. So, just breaking down, giving more understanding. Hopefully this has been edifying with that. I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.